On this week's edition of Connecticut Naturalist, fall has arrived, and the grackles are grouping before they fly south for the winter. The foliage is beautiful at this time of year, and Halloween is near. We'll examine the pumpkin festival that occurs each year in Bethel. It's a grand celebration, you don't want to miss it. And now, here's your host. Hello friends, I'm Will Michael, and you're watching the Connecticut Naturalist. We find ourselves again in autumn. There's no time more scenic in Connecticut or New England. Birds are beginning to group. Soon they'll fly south for the winter. And the leaves are changing colors. This all means one thing: Halloween is near. Each year at my house, we have 500 carved jack-o'-lanterns on display for all to come and see. We'll take a look at some footage from past Halloweens. But first, here's a look at some October wildlife to put us in the mood. The leaves on this sugar maple are on fire with orange. The birds are chirping loudly in the trees nearby. Grackles are landing in my backyard to feed on birdseed. The grackles have been busy all summer, raising their young and gathering food in the forest. Now they're grouping and feeding again in large numbers. Also joining the grackles are cowbirds and house sparrows. The grackles will linger in large groups for a week or so longer. Then they'll return to their southern habitats for the winter. The grackles tell us when spring is here, and they warn us when winter is on its way. This is a sure sign that the seasons are changing. Soon the grackles will fly south. They'll return again in the spring. We'll have a long winter without them. Before we get to the Halloween footage, here's a look at some fall foliage. The forest is on fire with color. Alright, now we're ready. Time to get into the Halloween spirit. Let the review of Halloween begin. All the pumpkins continue to arrive here in Bethel on Fleetwood Avenue. There's our quality control supervisor inspecting, making sure all the pumpkins are satisfactory. All the pumpkins are arriving. from the farm here in my yard. We're up to 428 pumpkins. We're going for 500. This week we'll be carving them, and then the grand finale is Halloween night when all the pumpkins are illuminated. Now the first step to Halloween is cleaning all the 500 pumpkins. Here we have a lot of volunteers who are helping out. And there's the inside of the pumpkin. This one's all clean. It'll go on the pile and then it'll be ready for carving. How long have you been helping with Halloween, Ryan?
I've been helping for the last few years. With 500 pumpkins we had last year, and this year we have a good 500 of them. It's real fun carving them, gutting them. It's okay, but carving's the best.
Here we have the inside of a pumpkin that's about to be gutted. We have our crew here, all our volunteers, and Bill is going to start gutting this one to demonstrate what happens. So all the guts go in the wheelbarrow, then the wheelbarrow is carted away. And we gut all the 500 pumpkins first, put them in a pile here. These are all gutted, waiting to be carved. So we only have about 25 more pumpkins left to be hollowed out, and then the carving will begin. And the carving is the most fun part because that's the most creative, and all the people have different ideas and all the different faces. Pumpkin pie, anyone? Day one, we're beginning to place some of the pumpkins on the scaffolding. And we still have some workers here. They've been here for several hours, picking away at that pile. As dusk approaches, here we have our workers.
21 years. This is the 21st year. So it's been a big deal every year.
So it's just built up on itself.
Nearing the end of our second day. The production is improving.
This is great. I look forward to the Michael's Family Pumpkin Festival every October, and it's great. We're among friends talking about different issues. The weather's a little bit chilly, but it's not raining. It's great. Life is good. I love it here.
Yes. This is the tradition. Every year we are here. This is the highlight in Bethel. Talk to people every day. I mentioned this. They said yes. Everybody knows about it.
This is very nice for the children, those who have any kind of appreciation for death.
The death of a pumpkin.
Well, it's Halloween, you know. It's somehow or other visiting and appreciation of the dead.
Here we have Joel, our master pumpkin carver.
According to the character of the pumpkin cut holes. See, this one's a little bit lopsided, so it's got a little trouble to begin with, but that's all right. It's no big deal. You just cut according to your feelings and what's going on with the shape of the pumpkin. Yeah, you know, they all look good when the lights are put on them at night. There's hardly a bad one in the yard. But some are more spectacular than others, certainly.
So, been coming here about 15 to 18 years or so, and just transfer the painting skills over to the pumpkin so that you can create a Halloween masterpiece. So I'm gonna start here cutting an eye, and what I do is I use kind of like a negative space, and you use the actual flesh of the pumpkin instead of where you just would cut out holes for an eye. You can actually put a pupil in the eye by leaving some pieces of pumpkin around the middle.
So far, here's the two eyes. Next comes the eyebrows. We'll continue to monitor the progress of this master pumpkin by Brenton Vaughn.
Here we are. It's Twilight of the Gods. Die Götterdämmerung here. There's only a few of the, in fact, only one of the charter members is still on duty. And we have another couple, an artist who's working here, carving. And it's getting rather chilly here in Bethel.
So at this point we have the eyes and nose of the pumpkin done. And all done using these keyhole knives with a vertical handle and a horizontal blade. I find them to be the most stable.
Now some people would see this pumpkin and it's so intricate they would think that it's a stencil, but this is all freehand,
All
correct?
stencils, all freehand. And the way I just go piece by piece, and that's how you get each little intricate part. You have to think in small sections instead of one big picture. We're gonna bring it over to a light and see how it looks and see if there's any minor details that need to be fixed up so it'll shine better.
So there's Brenton Vaughn's masterpiece, the first of several. All done without a stencil. Absolutely amazing.
Halloween is a great time because it comes in the fall of the season when you have all of the crops, and you have especially the pumpkins that you can decorate for the Halloween holidays and bring into your own home for decorations.
Hola.
Nunca en mi vida lo he hecho, ¿eh? Así de que si sale una porquería no me eches la culpa.
If it doesn't come nice,
All the plants are trampled.
don't mad at me. Don't play it. Don't
No.
play at me.
At the end of Wednesday night, all the tired parts of the pumpkins and all the tired human hands are at rest. And only left behind is the essence of the creative process. A spoon with the pumpkin guts on it, a halfway finished pumpkin, a face, a mistake. Halloween is fun, the pumpkins are special, but the people are more special. Each pumpkin representing the creative energy and the work of human hands. The essence of life is here. On top of this pine tree, there's a plastic pumpkin with an extension cord running up. There's a light bulb on top, and at night, this pumpkin illuminates over the whole entire yard. Now here I've got to climb up and check the light bulb. The view from on top of the tree is fantastic. Looking out into Bethel, the leaves are changing color. A fantastic view right in my own backyard. Here's the extension cord running up to the pumpkin. So I've got to get in there, change the bulb, get this pumpkin burning. It's hard to climb a tree and operate a camera at the same time. Here's another view, looking towards Danbury. That's Thomas Mountain, backside of Terrywile Park. It was hours before Halloween, and all through the property was a quiet and mysterious calm, anticipation of the event that is to come. The faces of the pumpkins, how similar they are to humans. Now here's a pumpkin that you don't see every day. We have Mark Fernandez here, the artist behind the award-winning pumpkin. How did you get the idea for this, Mark?
About 5 years ago, I was on the West Coast in Washington State, and I saw a pumpkin. It was a big pumpkin that was an entire jail, and it had all these little tiny pumpkins in it with faces looking out, and I thought it was really amazing. So since we didn't have any small little pumpkins, I just thought that I would put one pumpkin in behind bars. So I really stole the idea from somebody else, but I thought it was cute.
Here's a bird's eye view of the pumpkin patch. Dusk is descending upon the yard. The guests will be arriving shortly. All of the scaffoldings will be invisible in the dark, and only the illuminated pumpkin faces will be evident. There's a strange orange glow everywhere.
Can you grab me that ladder and hand that through to me? The silver ladder right here behind the...
The footage that you just saw was from Halloween of 2003. This year, things will be even better. All the gutting, carving, lighting, scaffolding, all the preparation takes hours and hours of work. We're always looking for volunteers. Now here's a look at something I call Halloween Unscripted. Past footage from Halloweens before last year. This footage dates back to before the Connecticut Naturalist series began. There comes a point when leading up to Halloween that some mysterious energy stirs. Anticipation mounts, and soon the excitement explodes. The suspense of waiting for Halloween night to arrive is too strong. Ladies and gentlemen, it is snowing on Halloween. No school tomorrow. You can throw all your notebooks under the bed. Monsters arrive. Crowds swarm to the pumpkin patch. The night ends. All that's left are the pumpkins and scarecrows. The Halloween archives contain a lot of beautiful memories. Now back to last year's Halloween night. Here's a look at what went on. Last year we had over 1,000 visitors. This guest is filming for her own Halloween archives. Here's a look from across the street. The yard is dark. Only the pumpkins mark where to go. What do you think of all these pumpkins?
Unbelievable. This is the most unbelievable event on the East Coast, probably in the whole world.
Right.
I can't believe I'm here with the Billy Michael family and all the cronies and local characters. I feel honored.
This is Disneyland in
This
Bethel.
is Disneyland in Bethel. You couldn't have put it better. Oh, I'm sorry. I got in the way. I got right in your way. Take another shot. I got in the way. I got in the way.
Hey, Doc.
Don't climb that tree again.
Can't you leave that up there
I do, but
and then unplug it?
the wind blows and I have to go up and turn the face.
Did you get your hat?
People are everywhere. There's the front of the house. There's Joe watching down over the front yard, spinning skulls. We've got the fire going and the bread toasting with the hot dogs. No more hot dogs for the strangers, only for the workers. And here's my aunt. Are you doing it? She's the backbone of Halloween. What are you doing? Without her, Halloween doesn't happen. Now we're using the night vision to pick up all the people as they walk through the yard. On Halloween, it is, what is it, 8:30? Somewhere around there. But it feels much later. It does feel much later. The candles burn low as the guests depart. We find ourselves in deep Halloween. Being outside all night last year, I caught a cold. You can hear it in my voice. It's a world of pumpkins. We're in deep Halloween. Pumpkin faces everywhere. The crowds have gone. At Halloween, it's November 1st. Tomorrow morning, all the pumpkins are taken down. One night only. Going deeper into the world of the pumpkin. All the faces. Looks like we're looking into outer space. These are all stars. Here's a nice wall of pumpkins. There's so many layers. And each angle that you look at makes the pumpkins look new. Here's a look at the award-winning pumpkin by Mark Fernandez. A little pumpkin inside prison. Faces in the distance. All of them smiling. A wolf howling in the moon under the branch of a tree. This is our salamander mascot, the mascot for the TV show.
And that really surprised me.
Well, friends, we've come to the end of this week's episode. I'm Will Michael, and you've been watching the Connecticut Naturalist Halloween Special. Halloween is on Sunday, October 31st this year. I invite all of you to come to my house and enjoy the beautiful display of 500 carved jack-o'-lanterns. I guarantee you'll never witness an event like this in your entire life. Here comes another music video, and I'll see you next week.
That my story's true. Adults, I'm here to warn you. Old minds may not believe. Long ago, they've given up on dreams. On a night that we call Halloween, spirit rises for its only scene. The night's over, she's back down in the ground, waiting for the year to turn around. On a night that we call Halloween, spirit rises for its only scene. The night's over, she's back down in the ground, waiting for the year to turn around. The full moon is bright. Winter, spring, summer's gone. Soon it's the night of my dawn. Some things man does not believe, just because it's greater than he.